And a good evening, everybody. This is Scott Manning coming to you live from Scott Manning YouTube Sports Talk. I just want to take a few minutes and talk about this. For the second year in a row, the second day of the Major League Baseball season has a bench clearing incident. Last year, it was the Cincinnati Reds and the St. Louis Cardinals having a good old-fashioned brouhaha. This time around, it's the New York Mets and the Washington Nationals. Here's what happened. Nationals pitcher Steve Chiswick drilled Mets shortstop Francisco Lindor right near the mouth. And then for the second day in a row, Mets manager Buck Showalter has had to watch as one of his players gets drilled almost right in the face. First time, okay. But second time, when Mets manager Buck Showalter saw what had happened, he came storming right out of the dugout, and the bench is cleared, and I'm thinking, here we go. For the second year in a row. So basically, it was just a lot of shoving and hugging and a lot of pushing. That's all it resulted. That's what all resulted in the fight. Nationals pitcher Steve Chiswick was immediately ejected from the game. Francisco Lindor had to leave the game in the fifth inning. That's when this whole thing started. He had to go to the locker room, get x-rays on his jaw. Thank heavens those x-rays are negative. They came back negative, which is good news, and he also passed concussion protocol and concussion testing. That is great news. But what may not be so great news for these two teams are they've got 16 more meetings. And this is after tonight's game. 16 more times the Mets and the Nationals are going to have to face each other. This is going to be a nightmare. This is only the second day of the season. The New York Mets and the Washington Nationals may have just become, we may have a new rivalry in Major League Baseball. That's all there is to it. But let's go back to Thursday. I want to go back to Thursday for just a second. There were three batters that got hit. Actually, what happened was Mets hitter James McCann, he got hit twice, and then last night in the bottom of the ninth, in the top of the ninth, Pete Alonso, he got drilled. He had to leave the game with blood coming out of his mouth. It's a miracle he didn't lose any teeth. Showalter was not happy about that then. And neither was Pete Alonso. And I understand we have new baseballs, okay. I understand that. But come on. This has got to stop. Three Mets batters got drilled on Thursday. And then Francisco Lindor nearly gets hit right in the jaw. Thank heavens, Lindor moved towards the umpire and got out of the way after he got hit. That was the only good news for the Mets. But Buck Showalter has had enough. He came back to managing in baseball after about a 3 or 4 year absence from the sport. My hats go off to Mr. Showalter for sticking up for his team. But the Mets and the Nationals, I'll say it again, they have 16 more meetings between these two teams before the season's out. I know it's only the second day. I hear you. However, these two teams cleared the benches. What's going to happen in New York? Their memories are going to be long. That's all I can say. But as far as the ball game itself goes tonight, it's in a rain delay. The Mets have a 6-3 lead. But I wanted to come on the air and bring you up to date on what's going on with Francisco Lindor. He got hit by a pitch tonight. And if you're just joining me just now, he just had x-rays done on his jaw, all negative. He passed concussion testing, which is good news. Nationals pitcher Steve Chiswick was ejected from the game for hitting a batter. Buck Showalter, and personally myself, I would have not have been disappointed if Showalter would have went out there and threw a couple of punches. I know I'm not trying to sound like a violent person, but the Mets have had enough of getting bullied around. And as far as Francisco Lindor goes, Lindor, he wants to have a breakout year. Last year, he signed that huge contract with the Mets for a lot of money. Almost over $300 million, if my memory serves me correctly. He's trying to have a much better year. He's trying to have a breakout year after a little bit of a disappointing lackluster last year. And I said it before. I've got the Mets winning the National League East. And I'm going to stick with that prediction for now. But the Mets, well, I would not be surprised if the Mets start going back to 1986. You get hit by a pitch, we're going to have fireworks. I'm talking about the old Mets teams back in the 80s. They've had enough of getting bullied around. And that's all I have to say about that tonight. Bottom line. Well, folks, 16 more meetings between these two ball clubs. How many more fights are we going to have? How many near fights are we going to have between these two? If this is any indication, the Mets are going to be fighting mad coming tomorrow. And I wouldn't be surprised if there will be some retaliation. And that's the truth of the matter. And that's all I have to say about that on this night. And to be quite honest with you, Steve Chizik is going to get suspended. He's probably going to get a couple of games. Francisco Lindor, he'll be back. I wouldn't be surprised if Lindor has an awesome rest of this series, to be quite honest with you. The Nationals have proven one thing. They want to take the high road. And I know it's only the second day of the season, but when you have a benches clearing incident, it's enough to get my attention, and it's enough to get you on a YouTube shot on my page. And I'm not going to go any further about that tonight. Okay, folks, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I want to thank you guys so much for being with me here on this night. Please go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. My name is Scott Manning. All you have to do is to be able to subscribe to my page. All you have to do is type my name, scroll down, look for this pretty face, click subscribe, and you will see all of the sports videos I have done so far. This video will be available on my YouTube page, and this video will also be available on several of my Facebook feeds and on my Facebook page as well. And then you guys are a great group. And thank you guys so much. The Mets and the Nationals meet again tomorrow night. We'll see if there's going to be any more fireworks than we had tonight. But hey, the Mets want to prove. The Mets want to win the NL East. I picked them to win the National League East when the season started. And I'm still sticking with that prediction. And I want to thank you guys for taking this moment with me. I want to thank you guys so much. You guys have a great night, and God bless. Good night, everybody, and I thank you.